Chilcot Inquiry to challenge official line on Iraq. The inquiry into how Tony Blair committed Britain to war in Iraq is set to challenge the official version of events when it reports later this year. The Independent understands the team led by Sir John Chilcot, which is examining Britain's part in the US-led invasion, will challenge previous accounts of what happened, according to a senior source in the inquiry. The prospect of a report which authoritatively confronts the established narrative from 2002 and 2003, when Blair sent 45,000 British troops into Iraq to overthrow Saddam Hussein, will unnerve many senior figures in Whitehall and others who no longer operate in the heart of government. Hang on. You mean Tony Blair may have lied? Never. Really? Tony Blair? He may have lied? Such an upstanding, honest, principle-driven man as well. Isn't it a shame that people didn't listen at the time that Blair was a lying piece of turd? Maybe those 1 million Iraqi lives wouldn't have been lost, or the 179 British soldiers' lives wouldn't have been lost. But think back. At the time of the run-up of the Iraq War, if you questioned what Blair or his government was lying about, talking about, then you were called a conspiracy theorist. So what else did Blair lie about? The murder of David Kelly? The events of 7/7? Remember Peter Power running a training exercise that envisaged the same bombs going off on the same trains at exactly the same times as what actually took place?
And the most peculiar thing was we based our scenario on the simultaneous attacks on the Underground and mainline station. So we had to suddenly switch an exercise from fictional to real. And one of the first things is, get that bureau number. When you have a list of people missing, tell them. And it took a long time.
Just to get this right, you were actually working today on an exercise that envisioned virtually this scenario?
Almost precisely.
Impossible, unless he was part of the terror act himself. Why doesn't anyone in government challenge this narrative that we were offered? Straight from the off, the train that we were told the terrorists took from King's Cross to Luton was cancelled that morning. I know, you're thinking I'm a conspiracy theorist now. But what has the term conspiracy theorist come to mean? Nowadays you're considered a conspiracy theorist if you believe anything that didn't come from the government's own sources. You see, you could see a man kill someone in the street. In the evening the news would say it was a woman that did the killing, and that source was the government. Despite seeing it with your own eyes, everyone else will call you a conspiracy theorist, saying that the man killed someone because they would have had the government tell them otherwise. We're sheep, we're pathetic, and we're being lied to all the time by the government. And even when it's easy to prove they're lying, people just don't want to know. They say things like, oh well, you can find anything on the internet, or you're just a conspiracy theorist. It's so easy for the public to believe people like Tony Blair, and this is why we have been shafted for years and years and years. People have got to stop believing government and think for themselves.